Breaking news tonight. The United States Supreme Court has issued a rare 9-0 unanimous ruling, reshaping how America interprets the Fourth Amendment and police use of deadly force. This decision marks a historic turning point, hailed as a victory for civil rights advocates and criticized by some as a challenge for police officers who make life-or-death decisions in split seconds. To understand what this ruling means and why it matters, we must step back into the story of the moment of threat doctrine and how this single idea shaped decades of deadly force cases. For decades, one phrase has defined how courts judge deadly police encounters: the moment of threat doctrine. This doctrine says, if an officer believes they face an immediate threat in the split second before they fire, their action is justified, no matter what choices led to that moment. But critics argued this was too narrow. They said, how can justice be served if courts ignore everything that happened before that final trigger pull? In Arlington, Texas, a traffic stop over unpaid tolls ended with a young man, Ashtion Barnes, fatally shot by police. His mother, Janice Barnes, took her fight all the way to the Supreme Court, demanding that judges look beyond a single instant and instead at the full story. On a rare day in Washington, every justice agreed. 9-0 unanimous. The court declared the moment of threat doctrine is no longer enough. Writing for the court, Justice Elena Kagan explained, judges must consider the entire chain of events, not just a split second before a bullet is fired. This means courts must ask, did the officer's earlier actions create or escalate the danger? Did mistakes, poor judgment, or unnecessary escalation lead to tragedy? The ruling was praised by civil rights advocates as a breakthrough for accountability. But some law enforcement voices warned it could make officers hesitate when hesitation costs lives. The ruling doesn't end the debate. It begins a new chapter. Across America, police departments must now rewrite training manuals, teaching officers that every decision leading up to a deadly encounter will be judged in court. For families who lost loved ones, this decision opens a door to justice. Cases once dismissed under the moment of threat may now return to the courts. But critics warn of unintended consequences. Will hesitation put officers in more danger? Will lawsuits flood the courts? Or is this the balance America needed to truly protect constitutional rights? What cannot be ignored in a polarized nation? The Supreme Court spoke with one voice, 9 justices, left and right, united in a unanimous ruling. The moment of threat is gone. From now on, the law demands the totality of circumstances, and that may change the way America sees justice forever. This decision is more than law. It is a mirror held up to America, forcing the nation to ask, what does justice look like? The Supreme Court has spoken with one voice. Justice cannot be confined to a single split second. It must be measured by the totality of choices, actions, and consequences. History will judge how this ruling shapes the future. Will it bring accountability and fairness, or create new tensions and doubts? That story has only just begun. And so, the debate moves from the courtroom to the streets to the hearts of every citizen. The choice is ours. How will we carry forward this new standard of justice? This ruling, though born in the United States, carries lessons for the world. Across democracies, the balance between state power and individual rights is constantly tested. From London to Berlin, from Ottawa to Canberra, police use of force remains one of the most debated issues of our time. In some nations, laws favor law enforcement discretion. In others, strict limits guard against state abuse. The Supreme Court's voice adds to this global dialogue that justice must see the whole picture, not just a single frame, a principle that transcends borders. Perhaps the greatest lesson is this: no democracy is perfect. But when a nation's highest court speaks with unity, it reminds the world justice can still rise above politics. Yet the story of justice is never finished. Each ruling becomes a seed shaping not only the law, but also the conscience of future generations. In lecture halls from New York to Nairobi, from Tokyo to Tunis, tomorrow's leaders study today's decisions. They ask, what is the true balance between liberty and security, between authority and accountability? As technology transforms power and privacy, the quest for justice enters uncharted territory. But the principle remains the same. No democracy, no system, is above the rule of law. And so, from the courtroom to classroom, from the streets to the screens, the pursuit of justice continues. It is not a single judgment, but an ongoing journey. As we venture deeper into the digital age, the question emerges, how we ensure justice remains true to its core. Can technology uphold fairness, or will it challenge it? Across the globe, nations wrestle with the ethical and legal challenges of how do we balance human judgment with the precision of machines? Can we trust algorithms to decide the fate of justice? Yet, the heart of justice remains unchanged: fairness, equality, and protection of the individual. The path forward is not one of surrender, but one of adaptation and vigilance. As the future of justice evolves, so too must our commitment to safeguarding its integrity. The pursuit continues, but now it's a shared journey. But justice is not only shaped by courts or algorithms. It lives in the voices of the people. From the streets to the screens, citizens demand transparency, equality, and accountability. In this connected world, public opinion becomes a force of law itself. A single message amplified across millions can spark reforms, topple corruption, or rewrite entire systems. The rule of law stands firm, but it is the people who breathe life into it. Justice evolves when communities claim their power, when silence turns into voice, and when demand turns into change. And so, the story of justice is not written only in courts or codes. It is written in us, in every demand for fairness, in every call for truth. Together, we are its authors. As we look ahead, the world is uniting to create a global justice framework, a shared understanding that transcends borders, cultures, and systems. Countries are aligning their laws, integrating technology, and crafting policies that protect the vulnerable, safeguard human rights, and ensure equal access to justice. The future of justice is no longer defined by isolation, but by collaboration. A world where justice isn't just a national ideal, it is a global reality. And as we look toward this just tomorrow, we see a future where justice is swift, accessible, and fair for every person, everywhere. And as we look toward this just tomorrow, we see a future where justice is swift, accessible, and fair for every person, everywhere.